Hello, I'm Damien Lovegrove and I'm going to show you how I use Adobe Lightroom to edit my pictures. Take a look at this. Here I am in Lightroom 5. I've brought in 30 pictures or so and I'm going to go through those one at a time and show you the adjustments and the settings that I make. This is the Manchester Hilton on the ground floor this time, the payphone in the corner. Doesn't get used much these days, as most people of course have got mobiles. What do I want to do with this picture? Well, I want to straighten it. And I'm going to use the old method of straightening it, and that is to sort of find a central vertical, or a vertical near the centre, put that upright, and then sort out the perspective using it manually for the outside edges. So let's get on and do that now. Let's just, in fact, I don't need to click on that because I'm going to go into manual. So let's just get the vertical element sorted. So you can use the rotate button from in here, or you can use the crop tool to rotate. That'll be fine there. That's fine. I'm going to use the constrain crop so that it just automatically tidies the image for me. And now I just need to, I've got sort of converging verticals left and right. So I just need to use the vertical element here. Went the wrong way, and that'll be about right there. I've got to make a decision. Do I keep that bit in on the edge of frame, or do I lose that? I think I'm going to lose that, so I'm going to use this crop tool just to pull that into there. Let's have a little look. Yes, okay. It's forced colour a little bit hard on the right there, but I think if I give the image a bit more drama, I can get away with that. So I'm liking this picture already. It's got a nice sort of feel to it. It's going to be black and white, but let's get the colours looking reasonable before we go there. And the way to do that is just pick up what you think would be quite a good neutral and just take on there. That's fine. So I'm happy with what's going on here because Carla's in my Lupolux LED 1000 light. I want to just, this area here is lit with tungsten light, of course, she's lit with daylight, and we've got a green panel behind and with reflected tungsten highlights. So it's all sorts of a bit of a mix, but somehow I quite like that. Let's take this area here, make it a little bit bluer, and take the contrast up. So I'm going to just bring the colour balance to there, take that up to there, take the contrast up. I might even take the exposure up a little bit. And let's just lift up this area here. Do you see how that white's going a little bit blur into here? And we've got a bit more punch into this zone. So that's good. I'll take the exposure up a little bit on there as well, because it's quite an important part of the image. I want to take the exposure down in this middle zone. So let's create a new brush here and take the exposure down. I'll take the brush size up just so that it's less obvious when you want to actually come to see the picture. Yeah, so just take those two down. That's just the back of the key light really, and I can just warm that up a little bit. That's nice. Okay, and let's have a look. I just want to take the bottom edge of the image down a little bit in exposure, so I'm using the gradient tool there. Give it a nice strong base, pull that into there, pull the top down a little bit. So I'm sort of vignetting because there's so many patterns of light and reflections and shapes. You can get away with a lot of vignetting and tweaks because it just looks like natural light fall off. Let's take that little highlight there out. I just spotted that. Don't like that one, so that's gone. And I think we're ready now to make a black and white. So let's do that. Before I do that, actually, I will just take the contrast up a little bit. Yes, that's brilliant. Love it. So I'm going to just use the command and the apostrophe key to create a virtual copy. Hit the black and white button, take the contrast up even more. Have a look at my shadows. What's going? Do I need any of that? Well, I don't need it, but I'm going to put some back in there. I like to keep my shadows clean. I don't like blocking out too much on the highlights or the shadows unless there's a reason for it. Because when I come to make a print, I want the print to have continual tone right down into the shadows, and that's important for me. I would probably at the print stage would just tidy up a few little bits and pieces like that scratch on the phone there. You know, the more you look at a picture, the more you see. And sometimes you have to just stop and move on. And that's what I learned fairly early on as a wedding photographer when I was faced with 300 pictures to edit. It's just, you can always keep adjusting, and you just got to know when to stop. And for me inside, I got this burning energy to carry on with this picture. And what I would do, just my next stroke would be just to lift this area a little bit, give it a little bit more contrast, a little bit more exposure, just to arrest the eye. And I'm going to do that because that's the way I am. So just going to bring exposure up a little bit, contrast up a little bit. That's too much. Okay, I know it's too much, but I'm going to knock that back when we get ready. Actually, I'm hitting the wrong tool. That's the one I want. Let's come into here and just to that and this little shoulder.